Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines 2, where we are in the city of Tampere. And so before we jump in, let's go ahead and dive into what we did on the last episode. We ended up building out this rather large industrial area, and I think it looks really nice. We got this kind of office park in here with a nice pond, and I really like how we kind of brought this all together with some taller buildings. And for a lot of it, we just really did a ton of industrial. We really needed it. And so now if we go into the info views, we can come all the way down to population, and we can see that our unemployment is hovering at around 15.9%, which is huge. We were up near like 35 to 45 for a while now, ever since the Economy 2.0 update pretty much. And so what we're going to be doing today is getting a little bit crazy with this section. Our demand for residential is still kind of going up and down, but it ends up coming back in full force. And so I had been playing around with a huge expansion in this area that I really think is going to help us to kind of rebalance our population a little bit, but also provide some workplaces and to help us capture a pretty cool look over here. And so a couple things we're going to be going over. We're going to be going over road layouts and how you can design your city in a way that will kind of prevent it from developing traffic, because this is one of the biggest problems with this game is a lot of times people will build something and then you end up having a ton of traffic. And so you can kind of see with a lot of the arterials that I've created and a lot of these curves and stuff, I try to always prioritize access. And so one of the biggest things we're going to be doing is creating that access. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing we're going to do is jump into roads. We're going to grab a medium road, and we're going to go to this 4-lane divided road just because I really want to be able to put like a grass median in there or something, just make it look a little bit better. So then we're going to hit that replace icon. We're going to come all the way over here. We're going to turn off toggling so that we can get this in the middle. We're going to go just like that. And then now we are going to grab the continuous tool, and we're going to come off from like right about here. And I want to kind of curve this around, but also make it functional. So we're probably going to continue straight, and then we'll begin to curve it. And we're going to have this come all the way back up over here. And we're actually going to create an access point right there. And then I do want to create some connectivity down here as well. So we're going to end up doing a freeway access point right there. And then we are going to bring this up. And this is a little bit tricky because we do have this ruins right here, but then we also have the rail yard or the rail line. So we're going to have to come all the way up over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to curve it towards the freeway because we also want to create another freeway access point right there. And then we're going to grab this road and we're going to do kind of the same thing. Honestly, we could probably even just go straight with this one. So we're going to go just like that. We're going to keep those at-grade crossings for right now. And then what we're going to do is create another road. So we're going to come off from this road, and we want to come off at a 90. And we're going to begin to turn this now. And so pretty much what this is for is just to create some interest. It's to break up the neighborhood a little bit. You see this a lot in like master plan communities where they'll come through. It'll be one big developer that basically purchased this whole piece of land, and now they're just developing it out. So we're going to come up and connect this up. And so this is going to be kind of like our ring road for this area. And so for the center, what we're going to end up doing is creating some really fun commercial areas. We're going to try to create some destinations. We're going to be hooking it up with some transportation. We're going to be doing a lot. And so now before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's come over here and fix these at-grade crossings, because we really want to prioritize high throughput for these. So having an at-grade crossing, which just means that it's at the same level as the train track, just kind of inhibits that a little bit. So we need to come up over here. Let's actually lower our step down, and we want to go to 22.5. We're going to come up over here, then we're going to cross over. Fantastic. Then we want to connect this up. We want to make sure that our grades aren't too extreme for this either, because a lot of times your grade can just be a little too high. It's just unrealistic for trucks to be able to make that. So then we will do the same thing for this side. All right, so now what we're going to want to do is go down to the roads, and we're going to create some roundabouts for these sections, because it's really going to help us to mitigate that traffic, but then also create that high throughput that we're looking for in these intersections. Now, a lot of these intersections aren't going to become like major intersections, but you still want to be careful. Roundabouts do tend to work quite a bit better than actual intersections, and this is something that there's actually quite a bit of research on. And so we're actually going to remove this as well, because we have this road down here. I really don't think having that road in there would be necessary. And it's kind of nice having this little buffer zone at the end of our airport over here. And so now that we have that, what we want to do is go ahead and create our access for our freeways. And so let's go ahead and do this one first, since this one's a little bit complicated. So we're going to select our farm. We're going to go over to the area tool, and we need to move this back just enough to create enough space for our off ramp. So I'm just hitting that right mouse button, getting rid of those intermediary little points. And then I just want to create enough space for us to get this a little bit further back. So then we probably do need to get this one just a little bit further back. Let's go ahead and go like that. I think that's probably good right there. And then now we'll go into roads, we're gonna go into highways, and we're gonna go into 3-lane one-way, and we want to upgrade this. So let's go ahead and go like right about there, and then let's go right about there. And then we do want to kind of match that on this side as well, at least try to get close to it. They do tend to look a little bit better if you can match the distance to your access point. So now we're going to go into a 1-lane highway. We're going to connect this up, and this does work a little bit better if you are coming from the direction of traffic. So like if you come from this way rather than going like this, because it just helps it to draw a little bit easier. You can go the opposite direction. Like I don't want you to feel like you can't, but it is something that I definitely try to avoid if I can. So I'm just going to go up 2 steps, and I'm on the smallest step. We're going to go just like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this all the way up. And we want to make sure that our grade's not too high. Like you see how it says 6.9? Well, that would be way too high. And so what that's telling us is that we need to just go a little bit higher over here. So if we grab this, let's come up over here. So just by going to 15 right there, we're already at 1.7. And so we can come up over here and now connect this up. And so that's 3. That just makes it so that the grade's a little bit more manageable for semis and heavier vehicles. So then we will go ahead and go on the opposite side as well. Come up all the way over here. And for this side, we can just kind of connect it up. I think that looks okay. And then we will now do the opposite side. And just a few seconds later, we got it in. And this actually looks pretty good. We can go ahead and unpause, let these people start using this access point. This is really going to help us to kind of split the traffic for this area as well. We only had this access point so far. And so what happens is if somebody needs to get in way over here, they really only had a couple options. So like they'd have to either come in from this point over here or from this point over here. And so by adding in that extra access point to the freeway, what we're doing is we're kind of splitting up the traffic and we're making it so that we don't get those bottlenecks. And so now I just need to go ahead and connect these up on the other 2 sides as well. All right, just a few seconds later, I got them hooked up. And so now we have created some awesome accessibility for this area. So we have an access point to the freeway right there, right here, and all the way down there. And so they can also get in from the city as well from this direction or this direction. And so now let's go ahead and start getting a little bit crazy with this road layout. So one of the cool things you can do, you can really do a lot with road layouts. You can start to do little grids like this, kind of break them up. Or you can even start to do curves. And so that's actually what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be getting a little bit crazy. We're going to be curving along this road. And so what I want to do is have this curve all the way around. We're going to go to 219 yards. And what we want to do is try our best to copy the same distance from the blocks. And so let's actually we're going to go to 220. So we're going to go like this. And then what we want to do is we want to come off at a 90 going this direction. And we do need to be careful with these shoot off roads because they can start to go different directions from each other. So you may need to come back and kind of rearrange them. So we want to come off, we're going to go 219. We want to try to match that distance. Perfect. Let's turn it that 90. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just bring this all the way around. All right, so now that we have that, what we want to do is just copy that one more time going in on the inside. And this can be kind of tricky, but you want to try to follow the same distance. We did kind of slip up a little bit, but you want to connect it up to your connections that are already there. So this one's not going to directly match to what you already have built, but what it's going to do is match up the connections, which is going to be important for us. So we'll come up over here, have this go around, and this is actually going to look really cool. I'm excited for everybody to see this. I got some really cool ideas for some parks and stuff, which is really going to help us to kind of bring this all together. It's a little bit easier once you get that first row done. That first row is definitely, I think, the most challenging part because you want to try to match the distance, and you can kind of see it's definitely a little bit shorter on this side, and I decided just to go with it. It still looks good from an aerial point of view, and so I was like, you know what? It's not the end of the world. We're just going to go ahead and just continue on. And then we will have this come around. Yeah, if we go like that. Just because of the bend right there, it's going to be a little bit tricky for us to get that in any other direction. So then we'll have this go straight. Fantastic. And then you can already see just by having that, it's definitely a cool layout. But one of the things you want to do is try to break this up somehow. And so one of the ways you can do that is to have these roads just come down and then have them curve into your main road. And what this is going to do is help to create some spaces in here. And so we're definitely going to need to get like a high school. We're going to want to get some commercial areas. So like this would be a good area for a commercial area. This would actually be a good spot for a transportation hub as well. And then we'll end up probably doing something in here too, maybe splitting this up, having this come down and then curve up. Because in that way we can kind of split this up into like a high school area and possibly even some more parks or something like that. And so for this side, what I want to do is have this actually just come straight down. And I do want it to be straight with that road. So we're actually going to go just like that And then what we're going to do is have this one come down as well. We want it to be perpendicular with that road. We want it to stay straight. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Fantastic. And then what we'll do is have this just kind of curve into the road down here. And what we could do is actually have it change the grid orientation for this side, which actually could be pretty cool. So if we come down over here, let's try our best. Maybe we'll come off of this first. So I want to leave about one space of zoning in the middle just so that we could get some pathways or possibly even a small alleyway in there. Having room for the alleyways is really nice a lot of times. So then we'll have this come in, and then what we'll do is we'll have this cut across. Fantastic. And then let's go ahead and have this follow that same kind of trajectory. I don't know if we're going to keep this middle road. I think it might be good for us to get rid of it, but I think for right now, this is actually a really good kind of starting off point for us. All right, and so now what that has done for us is it has kind of allowed us an opportunity to be able to come in here and connect this up and then have this one connect up in the same junction, which kind of allows us to just change the direction of the grid while also maintaining a consistent look in there. So now we're going to try to do the same thing here. We're going to have this come all the way down, just connect up straight. Fantastic. We want to come off at a 180. And then what we'll do is we'll have this one curve in. So I'm going to go into continuous. We're going to go like this, and then we will have it curve in. Fantastic. And we could even have these ones curve as well because they do kind of match up a little perfect right there. I don't think we're going to. All right, so that actually looks pretty good. I like this whole little design in here. We may even potentially get rid of some of these squares. It's one of the cool things with whenever you're dealing with this style grid, what you can do is just go in and kind of delete things for certain uses. And so the reason I did this is because we are going to have to get some high density in here. And so having a district where we can do like high-rise apartments and stuff like that's really going to help us out. And so now what I'm going to do is copy this on this side. All right, so just a few seconds later, I am pretty finished with this intersection. I feel like this looks pretty good. And so I divided this up to be like smaller park areas. I created a couple little turns in here to create a little bit more access. And so now what I want to do, we need to get some access points on this side. So what we're going to do is connect this up. And then we're going to have these roads just shoot straight all the way to the freeway. I don't think we're going to do zoning right next to the freeway. We'll probably just do offices and stuff like that. But this is kind of what I was talking about with the direction of these roads. You definitely want to be careful how they change directions. It can look a little bit weird if you don't do it right. And so you want to bring these all the way back. And then what we're going to do is bring a couple more ring roads around just to kind of connect it up, make it look a little bit better. All right, so I feel pretty satisfied with the overall road layout. And so one of the cool things with this, because we ended up doing our arterials first, being able to get in and out of this neighborhood is going to be pretty easy. And so having your secondary roads in any sort of design like this really doesn't impede your traffic as long as you do have collectors like this road that are going to help funnel people to your larger roads, which are going to bring people in and out of your neighborhood. And so now what we want to do, we want to start looking at transportation uses. So I know I want to get some buses and I want to get some metro since metro is so big in our city. So we're going to go into the subway tab and we're going to grab our underground subway station. So we have this station right here, and I'm tempted to just put this one across the street because it's just going to allow a really good transfer opportunity, but we could also have this one kind of loop around and connect up. The problem with that is I really want to get a connection right here, and I think having this kind of loop around is a little bit awkward. And so what we're going to do is do the transfer opportunity. I think it's going to be really nice because then they can just kind of cross the street. Potentially we'll even do a bridge. I think a bridge across would be really nice. And so then the idea is for us to be able to follow this up and have it turn in. And so what we're going to do is probably put this right off of our road because then we're going to end up building a commercial use, some parks and stuff like that around the outside. And I think it's just going to be a really nice fit to have that right there. And so let's go ahead and do one over here as well. I think we're going to go on this side. We are going to be mixing in some commercial into these smaller squares. And so having that right there isn't the end of the world. But then we do want to turn and have it come this way and connect up with the line all the way down here. And so I think we're going to do another stop probably off the main road just to increase that accessibility. Having your stops really close together is not the end of the world. This is something that does happen, especially in really dense urban areas. Having this out in the suburbs really isn't like the most realistic, but what it's going to do is increase our overall ridership, which is really what we're trying to go for here. So now we're going to grab our double subway tracks. We're going to hit that page down button. We want to go down to -60 feet. Then we want to come off of here and we want to go into continuous so that we can turn it, line it up with the next station, connect it up, and then let's go ahead and grab this again, and then have this one kind of curve around. We can probably even have this go straight and then curve in. Fantastic. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing over here, have it curve around. We do want to kind of line it up and then have it connect up. Fantastic. And then last but not least, we will grab this last one. And we could probably even have this one follow straight as well. And then one of the cool things with this, with adding it to an existing line, all we have to do is just stretch out this line. We are running a little bit low on trains at the moment, but it's something that I don't think we're going to end up addressing on this episode. There are still trains on this line, and so having the trains available I think would be good. And it looks like I actually created a new line rather than dragging. So it's kind of tough a little bit. You want to hold that left mouse button while it has that selected, and then bring it all the way back to your new station. And then what you should see is that same color coming all the way down. And then let's go to our new stops now. Let's grab that line, connect it up. Perfect. Come all the way over here, do the same thing. This is really going to increase that overall connectivity with this area a lot. What I'm hoping for is to get people away from the car and get them using the metro and stuff like that. And then we do need to go back to the initial stop that we pulled that stop from, especially in front of our airport. All these people are probably super upset. And so now what I want to do is probably get I want to get a bus station. I don't think we're going to do a big one. I think we're going to use the smaller, kind of newer one. Yeah, so I don't even know what this one is. Ooh, that one's kind of cool. I think that actually came from one of the asset packs on the workshop. But I would like to get this small one. I think the small one's actually a really nice touch. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to grab a small road. And what I want to do, well, actually, let's grab a big one. So I want to come off of this road, go like right about there, and then we're going to go into parking. We're going to grab this small parking lot road that's a part of the Mio asset parking lot pack. So then we will come off this way, and then what I want to do is come off from the opposite direction, but I want it to follow the road. And so this is going to be a little bit tricky, but it is something that we can get in there. Off like this, have it follow the road. Fantastic. And what this is going to do, on top of providing us the zonable area, it just makes it so that you have parking for your commercial areas. Parking is pretty important for this kind of stuff. And then what we could even do as well is have this kind of curve into the roundabout. That could actually be kind of interesting. So if let's start off from the roundabout and then have this kind of curve in. It's a little bumpy in the middle. I think I'm going to redraw that in. So if we come from this direction like we initially had planned, if we go like that, perfect. And so now we have created access into this area as well. And then what we can do now is come in here and just do a couple offshoots. This is going to be where we're actually going to zone our commercial and stuff like that. And we're going to be able to come in here and just kind of create a fun little spot. And we do want to make sure that we connect these up as well. You don't want to create cul-de-sacs. Cul-de-sacs are fire risk in a lot of these settings, especially even like these parking lots are not great because it's one way in, one way out. So it would be good for us to potentially get another road, connect it up, go like that. And then we can even connect this one up with the main road. Yeah, there we go. So then that way you don't create any bottlenecks with this. And I think that actually looks pretty good right there. And so we will do some pathways around this as well, just to increase that connectivity, but then also to limit the zoning. But then what we can do is, because we don't really want zoning next to this roundabout, so I'm going to do the extended sidewalk, have it come all the way over here, connect up, and then we'll have it continue on the other side as well. And these are actually pretty common in master plan communities where you do like a decorated sidewalk where you wouldn't even really have like a sidewalk like this. It would just be road and then grass and then the sidewalk kind of separated. But then that way we can go back to our transportation tab, grab that small bus station. I actually really like this bus station. I think it's a really cool bus station. And we do want it to be, I think we're going to go right there. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot. We can even grab the move it mod and kind of shift it over. It is going to bring back those bushes, which is a little bit frustrating, but we can just go into our brush tool. Let's go ahead and lower that down. And then we're just going to get rid of those trees. We're going to come back through and do a lot of our own detailing. So I'm not really worried about all that stuff. And so for the upgrades, we could do the extra platforms. You know what? I think it kind of completes the look. So we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to need the extra platforms right now though. But then we're going to do the taxi stand. That's definitely a must. And then we could do the service stations as well. And potentially, let's do 2 just to kind of complete that whole look. I actually really like this. So this would be like your little cafe or something, like maybe you're waiting. I think this is kind of nice too. I don't really like the taxi stand right off of our parking lot. I don't know if that's like the best place for that. But I think we're going to leave that like that for now. And then we'll always be able to come back and kind of change that up. And so let's go ahead and do our stops as well. We're going to use the EU bus stop shelter. And we don't really need to get too crazy with this. Let's actually bring back that view. What I want to do is just create a loop around. And so we're going to have it come off, meet the main road, go like right there. And you don't want the stops too far away. There's definitely a hierarchy that happens whenever you're doing transportation. Whenever you're doing like a bus line like this, you kind of want your stops a little bit closer so that they can service a broader area. So we're going to have it go all the way around, and then we will have it mimic the stops on the other side over here, just going back down the main road. And then what I think I'm going to do is actually have it go the opposite direction now. So I'll have it come off here, come this way, and then we will have it turn, and we're just going to copy the stops on the opposite side of the road. And then that way people don't have to ride all the way around if they're trying to get to a specific destination. Just a few seconds later, we got it all in. And so now we can go into our bus line tool. Let's grab one of our stops. Yeah, so we'll come in here, and then we're going to start off going this way. So we'll go right, grab this, grab that, grab this. Then we will have it come up this way. It actually would be better to go the opposite way so that we didn't have a left turn. Because it's a roundabout, though, I don't think it's the end of the world, but you definitely want to try to inhibit the bus crossing traffic if you can. It's definitely not something that you can always do, but it is something that you do want to kind of keep in mind if that option is available. So we will come up here, and so yeah, it crosses traffic again, which is kind of frustrating. So then we'll come this way and then connect it up, complete the line. Fantastic. And we'll have to come back through here and kind of change up the colors too. So then we will create the second line, have it come this way. And this one actually does go right, which is nice. So we'll go right. This is really going to create some awesome connectivity for this area. We haven't really focused a lot on buses. Once I got the metro in and everything, it's almost like I forgot about buses a little bit. So then we will connect this up, complete the line. Fantastic. And so we do have quite a bit of services we need to do as well. We need to do fire, police. We need to do schooling. We need to do medical. We probably want to we do have a large cemetery right there with a crematorium, but I think we still want to get probably another crematorium in here. Then we need to do parks, we need to do postal service, and we need to do communications. And so there's definitely a lot on our plate. Let's go ahead and start off with education because these tend to be a little bit bigger land uses. And so let's go ahead. We're going to use the standard elementary school because this is like a suburbanized area. I don't think the high-rise one is really a great fit. So we're going to go ahead and place one right there. I think we're going to end up doing 4 in this area. I think that would just be a really good call. And so I don't really want them on the main road either. I want them on these secondary roads because otherwise we're just going to start creating traffic for ourselves. We'll probably come back in here with move it. So if we place that right there and then let's go into move it and just kind of shift this over. I don't really like how it's kind of off. I would rather be even with the road. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. We're going to come back through with decals and everything and kind of level this out, make this look a little bit better. So we got one right there, one right there, one right there. Let's go ahead. So since this is going to be a higher dense use area, let's do the bigger one just because I think it's a really cool building. I like it. And I think it looks really cool next to like some high rises and stuff. So we're going to go like that. And then let's go ahead and do the upgrades for these as well. So I'm going to do the courtyard playground. I'm going to do the extended floors. And then for the other ones, we're going to do the upgrades as well. I don't know if we're going to do the children's clinic on a lot of these though, just because of space. I think we will do the playground. You definitely that's not great. Having the playground across the street, it's not ideal. That might be something that we just have to do. So yeah, you know what? It looks like it's just going to be a standard kind of design practice over here. So we'll do the extension and then grab our playground. Maybe we'll do like a park area where the playground is because I think that's kind of weird having it kind of across the street. It wouldn't be the safest, especially for small children. And so now we need to do our high school. So we'll go back into education. Let's grab our high school. And we probably want 2 of these potentially. Let's look at that. So we have an eligibility of 12,384 with a capacity of 12,000. So we're going to add a pretty decent amount of capacity, but we are also going to be adding a pretty decent amount of residential. So I'm wondering if maybe 2 would probably be good. And so I'm actually looking at this area over here because I want to get, maybe let's see if we can get it over here because I want to get the sports complex. I really want to get the stadium. I think the stadium's a really cool building and it's something that we don't get to place a lot. Yeah, so let's, we're going to have to rearrange some of these roads. So if I demolish that, let's go ahead and get rid of this. And then let's look at that building now. So I think we can get it in there, potentially even in the back. So let's do a small road. Well, actually, we'll just continue this road on and then go back in here and grab our sports field. Yeah, this is going to fit fantastic. And then let's go ahead and do the school library upgrade as well and the extension wing. And then that way what we can do is actually extend this out a little bit. I wonder if we can get we can, fantastic. So let's actually have this come down and connect up. It does kind of break up our little design a little bit, but what this does is it allows us an opportunity to do like kind of a bigger playground or like a bigger park. So we'll grab this now. Let's go into our parks and let's grab, I'm wondering if we can get, yeah, we definitely can. So let's do the large city park. And then what we can do is go into our pathways and we want to just connect this up. It is going to be a little bit kind of tricky because we do have to use anarchy, unfortunately, but what this is going to do is just help us to create a larger park, which is really what I'm trying to go for. So if we go like that, yeah, that looks pretty good. I think that already looks pretty good. And then that way we can come off here and kind of connect it up as well. And we'll probably do some smaller parks like the dog park and then probably even the playground as well. So if we come in here, let's go into our parks. Let's grab the dog park. Let's get out of this view. And then, so we'll probably do the dog park right there. And then let's do the playground. I want to get the large playground. So let's get the large playground right next to the park. I think that's a pretty good touch. We do have quite a bit of homeless, so these are going to fill up with homeless people pretty quickly, unfortunately. But I think that looks good because then we can also add in some other things like maybe the community pool. I think the community pool is usually a pretty good bet. I really like putting these into communities. I think it's a really nice touch. Like growing up, I had a community pool that was kind of close to where I grew up, and so it was a pretty common thing for us to go with like the neighborhood kids and stuff like that, go swim. So we'll place that right there, and then we'll come over here and place one right over here as well. Nice. So this is actually pretty good. We could even do one in here too. It could be good because it helps to kind of split up the uses. So if you have tall buildings, but then have this kind of in there. I don't know if that's like the greatest match though. We may come back and kind of remove that. I don't know if that looks the greatest. Potentially even a plaza would probably look better there. But now let's go in. So we got schooling, we got high school, 4 elementaries. So we could even do a big high school over here as well. I'm tempted to, because the high school helps to, again, kind of like the community pool, helps to break up the uses a little bit. And so we're going to do the upgrade, the rooftop sports park, and then we're going to do the extension. I really like the high school. I think this is a really cool building that they added. I really like the overall appeal of this. I think it looks awesome. I like the elementary school too. I think they're really cool. I think we are going to get rid of that. I think in a high dense area, it's just kind of a weird look. And then now we need to do our other services. We need to do fire. So let's do an urban firehouse in our little downtown area. We're not going to get too big of buildings in here. Like, I don't think we're going to do high density residential. I think we're just going to do apartments and stuff like that. But we would still want like that fire department. I think that's a good bit. So we'll put one right there. And let's go ahead and do another one over here somewhere. Yeah, so if we go like that, perfect. So we got a fire department over here, fire department right there, and we got a fire department over there. So that's some pretty good coverage. And then let's go ahead and do a couple police stations. So we could do the small one, or we could do the bigger one. So we do have quite a bit of prisoners, criminals in jail. We need to do a prison. We're definitely in need of a prison. I wonder if we could just place that down, because I've actually been eyeballing this area over here for a prison. I kind of would prefer us to do like a whole prison kind of compound, but I wonder if we just place this right here, if it would just help to satisfy that need for our city. Because what's happening is, since the criminals can't be actually sentenced, they're just kind of being dumped back onto the city. And so our crime success rate's really high, 72.6. That's just crazy. And so hopefully with that, maybe we'll create some rehabilitation opportunities for people. Maybe we'll come back here and do some more. I mean, it's a good location, like kind of tucked away in our industrial area. So I guess it would be safe, like if there was any sort of escapees or anything. But let's get back to what we were doing. So we got a prison now, which is good. Let's do a couple police stations. So let's look at the cost of these. So 19,000, 15,000 for the small one, but less jail cell capacity. Same number of patrol cars though. So let's place one over here. Let's go like right there. And then I think we're going to do one back here as well. Yeah, let's go like right here. And then let's go ahead and do the upgrades for those two, just because we can. Let's go ahead and do the fire truck upgrade as well. This is going to be good, man. This is a huge expansion. We're really doing a lot. So the garage upgrade, fantastic. And then, so we got police, fire, schooling. Let's do medical. So we definitely want to get at least a couple medical clinics. And I'm tempted to get, so let's get the medical clinic right there because this would be a centralized location. And then let's come over here and do one as well. So let's probably, the curve makes it a little bit iffy. I wonder if we put it off the main road. It's definitely a little bit better if you don't get those on the main road. But I think that's good. So we got one right there, one right there. Let's come down here and see if we can do, so we got a local hospital. This is kind of interesting. I haven't placed this one. I think this actually came from an asset pack of some kind. So it's got 7 ambulances, one medical helicopter. So let's see how this looks. I haven't checked this building out. So it's actually, it's not a bad building. It looks pretty good. I like it. Let's see if it gives us any sort of problems though, because sometimes with these buildings you do get some sort of issues. So let's check out the garage, parking garage. So I think that actually looks cool. I like the expansions too. I think they did a great job on this. The detailing is just really cool, especially with the parking lot. I don't know if this was actually part of an asset pack or if this was, I think it was. I think I downloaded this, but I think that looks cool. I like that it has the helicopter too. That's a really nice touch because having those medical helicopters can really make a huge difference. And so now let's do our postal service. Let's go ahead and get a big one in the middle. Postal service is pretty important. So we'll come over here. Let's put the postal service right next to that. We're definitely going to need to do like maybe a small road or something in there, but then let's do some small ones as well. So we're going to do a small one over here. Let's do it right next to the fire department. And then let's do a small one back here as well. Let's do it right next to that. Yeah, that's pretty. And then we could upgrade these as well. So the small one has the ability to extend its mail storage. And then the big one, I believe you can actually extend a garage. Yeah, so post van garage or the mail storage extension. I don't really want to add those on. I don't think that that's a really good, I don't think that we really need that right now. We do want to kind of move these over though and get them fit into their spaces. I think they just look a little bit better if you do that. One of the trickiest parts with detailing in this game is lining up the building lines, because it's just a lot of times like this just doesn't look as real. Like you got to put bushes or something or hedges or something around it. And so that's definitely something that we're going to do during our detailing time lapse. And then we do need to get a telecommunications tower. So we could definitely do a bigger one. Let's kind of see if the small ones really dig a dent. So there's not really anybody over here right now, and the small one really doesn't cover the whole area. So I'm wondering if we could get just one big one, potentially even by the school. I wonder if we could get this in here. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to. So I think what we're going to do, let's go ahead and place it by the rail yard back here, because I think this is just going to be a good spot. It's kind of tucked away. This is going to be a really tall building too, and so we would want it kind of tucked off the beaten path. A lot of times in real life, they hide these, like they make them look like palm trees or big evergreens or something so that they don't stand out as much. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And it's not like right in the view of people's homes. And so I think that that's probably a better location. And it gives us some really good coverage. Like that pretty much covered that whole area, which is fantastic. And then we do also need to get some post office boxes. So we are going to place a few of these, and we don't need to get crazy with these. On the last episode, I kind of got into the habit of placing a lot, and then somebody had commented like, man, you can get away with just a few. And so we're just going to place them on the main road and then call it done. Now what we need to do is start diving into parks. So let's go into the parks tab. We're going to go into the main parks and recreation tab, and let's do a few of these small parks kind of scattered around. So these are going to be like your neighborhood parks. You definitely want them to be pretty consistent. It's nice to have these within walking distance of homes. I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do some dog parks as well. I really like having the dog parks kind of scattered around, and it's something that at least where I'm from in Las Vegas, you see pretty often, where it'll just be like a big park with a dog park next to it, or a lot of times even just a dog park kind of by itself. And then we do want to turn these into, so I think we're going to turn this into another commercialized zone, or potentially even a signature building. That could be good. So maybe we'll do, because we haven't done the marketplace, and this one's definitely, a North American style building, but I think that this would actually be a pretty good location for it. So if we place that right there, and then let's go ahead and move it over. It's going to bring all the trees back, sadly. But let's come back in here. Let's bump up that brush strength so that we can get rid of these trees a little bit faster. Go like that. Fantastic. And then we could, I think it'd be smart. So let's, what we're going to do is put some big parking lots next to this. So we're going to go all the way up, go just like that. Fantastic. And then what we can do is grab our small little alleyway road, connect this up, and then I don't really want that to be connected up on this side. Sadly, it is kind of like a cul-de-sac, but there are still access points over here, so I think that looks pretty good. And then what we could do as well is just kind of fill in this backside. We'll probably just do some more commercial. I think that would probably be good. Let's actually use the bigger road. I think that would probably be smarter because you get that street parking too, which is kind of nice. So let's turn off snapping, line this up. Fantastic. And then that way we can come in here and do a couple little bits of zoning as well. I don't like how these aren't lined up. Maybe if we get rid of this, let's go ahead and try a different approach because I think that that just didn't look the greatest. So maybe the smaller road. So if you go like that, and so you can kind of get away with breaking up the grid a little bit more. Yeah, if we go like that, and then that way we can come back in here and delete this little nub in there. Yeah, you know what? That doesn't look bad. The small road definitely kind of saves the grid a little bit. So we got a commercial use. Let's go ahead and do another commercial use back here. So we're going to grab our road. We're going to come in here and we're going to follow that same kind of design theology. So we'll grab that, go into our parking lot roads, grab the small one, and then we're going to come off this direction. And this one's going to be kind of long. So we'll go 154. And we do want to match that on this side. So we'll come out, let's do one. And of course, it's not going to be perfect. 154, fantastic. And then that way we can grab our road, have it come up here. And I think we're actually going to connect it with the big road. I think it would be smart. So if we go into continuous, have this kind of curve in, we definitely need to remove some of these crosswalks. Like we don't need these two crosswalks in here. And a lot of times you could even just remove the crosswalks on the inside. So that traffic wasn't impeded on that side. But I think what I'm going to do is just remove the entire crosswalk for one. And then that way cars can just kind of go through here like they don't have to really worry. They would still have to worry about people crossing traffic, but just makes it a little bit better. Like we could even remove this one as well. So I think I'm going to remove this one because it's a little bit close to that roundabout as well. Like we wouldn't really want to stop traffic that close to the roundabout. So what we're going to want to do for this area is to create a couple little offshoot roads. And what this is going to do is just create, we could even do a pedestrianized road. I think that that could be good. I don't really use the pedestrianized roads enough. We could even upgrade this as well. You know what, let's do it. Because I do like pedestrianized roads. I think they're really nice, especially once you get like full zoning off of this. It just turns it into a really nice district. So we'll come up over here. Let's have this come all the way across. Go just like that. Fantastic. And then we could just leave that like that. I think that actually wouldn't be bad. I don't really like this empty space over here though. So I'm wondering if maybe we could have this kind of copy that road and then connect up right there. I wonder how that looks. Let's check that out. You know, that's actually interesting, because then we could do a small road kind of just connecting these up like that. Fantastic. And then we could even go like this as well. Let's maybe check this out, because then it just provides a little bit of access to the pedestrianized road. I think that looks interesting. And then what we'll do is the extended sidewalk. So we'll go like this, bring it all the way back. I think that already looks pretty good. We're really doing a lot. All right, so now we are at a place where we can start zoning these in. And this is gonna get a little bit crazy. It's a lot of zoning. And so what we're gonna do is zone all these in. And I think we're gonna leave a lot of these spaces empty. So we definitely wanna be careful for a lot of the smaller zoning pieces like this. Like we wanna get offices. We're probably gonna do some commercial or even a bigger park use around that. And then we'll come in here. We're going to do some homes in here. I think we're going to do pathways in here. We could even do like some more neighborhoods in there, but I think by just doing this, it's going to be good. All right. So after a little bit of time, I got it all zoned in, and you can see I still missed a few little spots in here. And so I definitely went back and forth between higher density uses, smaller uses. So like around the inner circle of our ring, I did do some apartments because I felt like it was just gonna be a really nice touch. I did leave some spaces empty as well for us to continue doing some parks. So I did apartments going all the way around this inner side, and then I did offices going around our big road with some commercial on this side. I did commercial kind of buttressing the main road. I did mixed use on this side. I did low density going all the way around. And so this is gonna be a huge community, and so I did little neighborhood markets as well so that people could kind of walk to a closer area. And then we do still have some space over here for us to be able to develop out some new areas. But what I want to do now is just let this run. This is going to take a long time. And so let's go ahead and put it on 3-speed and watch it unfold. All right. And so after quite a bit of time, actually, we are at a place where it feels pretty good. We did get a couple taller buildings in here. I did do the low rent. And so we got like this really tall one, which is kind of funny. I don't see this one often for the low rent housing, maybe because it's upgraded. I do like the look of that building though. I think it looks cool. And I think having one in there isn't necessarily the end of the world. I do think maybe we're going to mix in some different sizes for these apartments because I don't necessarily like that they're all exactly the same, but we'll kind of play around with that. I did also do a couple signature buildings in here. I really like the benefits for these. Like you get the lower import cost, which is really good, especially since our city is having beverage issues still, but then it also increases the overall attractiveness of your city and the well-being within a close proximity of the building, which is really nice. So it kind of boosts this whole neighborhood up. And so this actually looks really good. I do still have a couple smaller areas that I want to do. Like I think for this section, I was thinking about doing like a bigger park with some pathways and stuff. And then I want to come through and just kind of clean up a lot of these areas. Like I know I want to do the grass in the middle of this lane. So if we come in here, do the wide sidewalk, we want to put it in the middle. And yeah, it's going to give us a little bit of issue. So we may need to do anarchy down, which does kind of suck, but it's just once you start moving things around, you really have to kind of stick with it. So we'll probably do the median going all the way down, and then we're going to do grass for this just to kind of help bring it all together, make it look a little bit better. All right, so I think our city looks pretty good. We definitely got to get in with some smaller details, but I think what I'm going to do is jump into a detailing time lapse. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do with this space yet. We may end up just putting the roads across, but the way that the roads don't meet up with these other roads was just kind of bothering me a little bit, so I left it open. Potentially we'll even put in a signature building or something like that. But I think for right now, it looks really good. I just want to get some trees in here, and then I'm going to decorate our main road as well. I think I'm going to do some of the rock landscaping going across the main road. And I really want to get some pergolas and stuff in here, really to help to bring it all together. And we really need to get some trees, some more walking paths, and just kind of complete this whole look. I think it looks good so far, but once we get all the trees and everything, it's just going to look a whole lot better. And so I'm going to jump into that. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you on the other side. All right, so after quite a bit of time, I am finished. And I did kind of get a little tired of doing this, so I actually did it over a few days. That's why this video came out a little bit later. A lot of the detailing in this is kind of monotonous. I don't find it as enjoyable. I think because of the lack of assets as I did in Cities Skylines 1. I think once we get assets in, then it's really going to help to kind of open up the different ideas. Because right now it's really kind of just the same ideas for a lot of this. But I do think this still looks really good. So I ended up doing the grass with the trees. And then I had some benches go along our pathway over here. And I even did one of those like covered pergola kind of things in here that we see in one of those newer parks that we got with that free update. And then I did, same thing, lined it with bushes. I did end up doing the rock landscaping around here because I just really liked the look of it. And I felt like it was just going to be a really cool look like coming into our new neighborhood. And I do want to kind of choose a car in here and try to get like a first person look at this as well, because I really like those looks if we can get them. So we'll come in here and then we'll move it, and then let's go ahead and go to our camera free zone, just so we can kind of see the way everything looks from a first person perspective. And so I really like this rock landscaping, and you can see I definitely forgot some bollards in certain areas. It was a lot of bollards, but I really like the bollards, so I'll probably go back through and put those in there. But I like that you can see the downtown too. I think that is a really cool look. So this would definitely be like a master plan community, especially with this huge, American style shopping center right there. But then I, filled in a lot of the smaller spaces with trees and really just tried to make it look as good as I can. I really like these grassways too. I think that those look really cool. These big grassy lawns. I really like the overall look of that a lot. And I like that we got these commercial areas in there too, and we even got a couple bigger buildings too. It's kind of interesting that this guy's cutting through here. Oh wait, no, we got our bus station in here. That's right. So I wonder if he is actually going to go there now. Where are we? Oh yeah, it's right here. Nice. So that's actually, I like that a lot. I think that looks really cool. I like those first person views. But overall, I think that this build is really nice. I like that we got this big low ramp building over here as well. But overall, I think this looks really good. I like the overall look of it. I like that we did these parks in the middle. This is like, the center ground. We got some commercial in there. So this would be where everybody in the community could come and kind of shop and everything. We did still leave some space in here as well. I wasn't really sure what to do with that, and so I just kind of left it empty for right now. We'll probably come back through here because we got a lot of empty space. I am still working on a downtown expansion over here as well. I've been kind of playing around with it, and then I do still want to extend this out towards this river. They're just they're more complicated builds, and I kind of get into that perfectionist mentality where I'm like, man, I really want it to look as perfect as possible. And so I tend to overthink these things a little bit, but I do want to get them out there before we are done with Tampere, because the city's definitely starting to run into issues with the simulation. It's just a little bit slower, and so hopefully they put out an update here soon that maybe addresses some of this, and especially some of the warehousing and stuff like that. And so before we go, I did want to highlight the lack of traffic real quick. So we definitely have a lot of people walking around, which is fantastic. It's especially, I think, in some of these areas. I saw quite a few areas where there was a lot of people walking. Maybe not. So there's definitely people walking. It's not huge mountains of people, but it is nice because our roads are definitely not, filled up with cars, which is really nice. And that lends itself to the overall design. So having these freeway off ramps kind of split up, having this one right there, having transportation readily available, it really goes a long ways to just make your city run a little bit better. And so if you enjoyed this episode, you will definitely enjoy the episode on your screen. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.